Hey, it's Mike. While I continue to enjoy a bit of a hiatus from the YouTube channel, I am busy focusing on increasing the membership to my Patreon. And I think this might be a good little litmus test for how serious you are about achieving your pro wrestling goals this year. There are a lot of monthly subscription services that we all belong to, but just between you and me, your Hulu subscription, your Crunchyroll subscription is not getting you any closer to achieving your pro wrestling goals. You know what will? Joining my Patreon. There's more than 1,000 posts there overflowing with wrestling knowledge and insight. The favorite feature of my patrons, as they recently told me resoundingly, is Tidbit Tuesday, where I post 2 pieces of advice for people working in pro wrestling, and I cover beginner, intermediate, and veteran level players. So no matter where you're at in your journey, I've got something for you. And the Patreon exclusive videos that I make just for my patrons, 1, they cover topics that I never speak about publicly here on the channel, but 2, they cover every possible facet of professional wrestling, like the sneak peek I've got for you right now. And this one is dedicated to you, Mike Fresh. Mike had messaged me about his burgeoning career as a commentator, and having worked maybe a dozen shows or so, discussed the difficulty in recognizing from the commentary position when a match is transitioning from Act 1 to Act 2. Now, of course, the more experience that you have doing this, the easier this job becomes. However, I think it's important from the wrestling side of things, addressing all of the wrestlers out there watching, your role in making sure that this is clear. Now, of course, it's perfectly fine if a commentator wants to ask you about your match, hey, what's the cutoff? What is that connective tissue between Act 1 and Act 2 so that when I see it, I can call special attention to it? I was just watching an old Mr. Perfect match where Bobby the Brain Heenan was on commentary, and when the cutoff happened, Bobby almost gasped, "Oh, he is really hurt." The moment he said that, it put all focus on the baby faces selling. Like, wait, what happened? Why is this different from the 4 previous minutes of wrestling now that Bobby thinks he's really hurt? He basically signaled to the crowd, there's been an act change. Are you paying attention? Look at what the baby face is selling, because the whole rest of this story is going to be about his left arm. But if you don't have the opportunity to ask that, or the wrestlers who you do ask, they don't know at the time that you're asking, or any number of other reasons why you don't get that information, it's important for those of you wrestling these matches to understand your role in clarifying that part of the storytelling, not just for the benefit of the people narrating your story, the commentators, but for the benefit of the fans, so the audience can follow the story that you are telling. So if you're doing traditional 3-act structure, as 90% of the matches made in the West are structured, it's important to bear this in mind about that transition from Act 1, the shine, opener, promise, into Act 2, the heat, steam, or rising tension, and what that connective tissue, the cutoff, has to accomplish. So toward the end of Act 1, the babyface character begins to build some momentum. The values have been established. We understand the value of the face. We understand the value of the heel. Now we're building momentum, and that momentum could include increased speed or a raising of the stakes. So in each of those, example number 1, if you'd like to see the other 2/3 of that video, or maybe 200 other videos which are exclusively available to my patrons, you know what to do. Jump on the link down below in the descriptus, or that orange box appearing on screen. It will take you to my Patreon right now. Come and join our community. Start unlocking all these bonuses, extras, and perks. They're just waiting for you.